All right, welcome back, everyone. Today is March 23rd. It has been 8 days since I attempted my 1,000 pull-up challenge. I did it on March 16th, and I was able to complete it. And I think it was 3 hours, 6 minutes, and like 43 seconds or something like that. So yeah, it was difficult, that's for sure, but I felt ready for it. That's why I did it a few days early instead of on March 18th. I kind of just woke up that Saturday and just decided to do it. I felt like I was ready. I'd been training for it pretty hard, and yeah, I was able to do it. The video is just gonna be mainly my pull-ups, just so you can see that like I actually did it. So I'll kind of cover the entire video right now before you start watching that, and then once I'm done here, it'll only be the pull-ups. But the training I was doing for it, I was doing a lot of, I was trying to, I guess, over-prepare. So the math was 5 pull-ups every minute for 3 hours and 20 minutes. That was my goal. And my training, I was doing 7 pull-ups every minute for as long as I could go. And then I'd drop it down to 6 every minute for as long as I could go, and then 5. And then I'd probably do like 5 for like 20 minutes. My training sessions were usually about an hour long for my pull-ups. Some days I would go harder. Some days I'd do like an hour and a half. I probably did that once a week. But yeah, it was just tons of volume, tons of like little rest time to get used to that. On some of my like chest days, I would do ladder sets of 10. So I'd do 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, all the way down to 1 as fast as I could. And that was kind of to help build, I guess, like a better barrier against like lactic acid buildup. So initially, like, I'd be burning the whole time, but eventually I got to where the burn wasn't there. It's more just like the lack of endurance. So hence, doing 7 every minute instead of the initial 5. The strategy that I did going into the pull-up challenge, I went in there thinking I would do 6 every minute, and I would do that for 10 minutes and then drop it down to 5 and kind of recover. Because I found during my training, one of the big issues I was having was my heart rate would get up. And once my heart rate was getting too elevated, I'd start to tire out a little bit quicker. And that's kind of whenever I'd start to dip down. It usually wasn't because of the muscle fatigue. It was usually because my heart rate had been up for so long. So doing sets of 6 and then tapering down to 5 would kind of let my heart kind of recover a little bit for those 10 minutes. So I would do 6 every minute for 10 minutes and then 5 every minute for 10 minutes. Doing that, I was able to get ahead of schedule. And then it also kind of put in the back of my mind, like if I need to, I could take like a 10-minute break halfway through to kind of rest, but I didn't do that. I ended up just doing all the pull-ups all the way through in 3 hours and 7 minutes, basically. I'd probably say at the halfway point is whenever it started to get really difficult. It was pretty boring the first half. It was more just like a mental thing of like, I'm gonna be here for 3 hours in one spot doing pull-ups. Pretty boring. But once I kind of got to like the hour and a half mark, my hands started to tear a little bit. I actually had my pinky right here. You can see it's a little open. I mean, it's 8 days later, so it's not that bad right now, but this tore within the first 150 reps. I don't know how. It might have just been how I was holding the bar. But that pain kind of caught up with me at the halfway mark. At the halfway mark, it was the pain in my hands and then just thinking to myself, wow, I still have 500 more pull-ups to go. And it seemed like a big number. But eventually I was able to kind of like push through that mental barrier. And then I'd probably say at the 800 mark, my forearms started to hurt really bad. Not like a burn, like actually like they were hurting. My forearms and my biceps, but definitely mainly my forearms. You'll see in the video, if you watch the whole thing, the last probably 20 sets. So probably 15 or 20 sets. So the last like 80 pull-ups, I did sets of 4 instead of 5. So it was a good thing I did sets of 6. So I was able to do sets of 4 and still make it with time. My final set was only 2 pull-ups just because that's how the math kind of added up to 1,000. But yeah, throughout the video, it sped up so you don't have to watch 3 hours of me doing pull-ups. But it slows down every now and then, and I'll show you like my timer and I'll show you my counts. I only had so much storage on my camera and my phone. So it's the first, I think, hour and a half of my session, and then the last like 30 minutes of my session. So you'll miss kind of like the in between, but you'll see the beginning of it and the end. But yeah, thank you for tuning in.